So we touched on predictive analytics. That's obviously, not another key topic in sort of today's world. How has this impacted business? Like, this impact the role of companies, and how's it developed, like, within businesses?
Well, a little bit already. As I said before, like it's difficult because we're dealing with people and we're potentially making consequential decisions about them. And we have to be careful, right? We have to remember there's a difference between predicting something and knowing something.
Yep.
Right. And when we're predicting, we're just saying, it might happen, or it probably happen, or it has some percentage chance of happening, right? But that doesn't mean that we know something will happen. My son, for example, right? If it's like, I don't know, he's playing some game, right? And to win, he needs to roll 3 or more on a dice. And he thinks, well, there's 66% chance of that, so it should happen, right? And then he rolls and he gets a 1 or 2. He's like, oh, how did that happen? I'm so unlucky, right? Well, no, you were probably going to win, but you didn't, right? And there was always that chance. So there's a big difference between knowing something to be true or it being true and just kind of having a prediction.
It's like your sports team. You like your sports team as well, isn't it?
Exactly.
Sometimes you expect them to win, and then it don't go that right way.
Exactly. It's like, how could it have happened? Well, guys, there was always a chance it was going to happen. We have to remember that. And where this relates is, I guess
even more so for humans, isn't it? Really, because people go through different life experiences, and that can completely change your situation. And that situation is not going to be the same for next person or the next person. So it's a lot of different variables, isn't there, to take in?
Exactly. And so how do we in HR use predictive analytics in a way that's fair to the individual?
Yeah.
Right. And we have to be very careful. Right. So the use cases that you see, and I've mentioned them already, right? The common ones about recommending learning or, this type of or jobs, all right? Like, these are predictions at an individual level, but the individual has full control over whether they take that prediction or not, right? It's like, it can't really hurt them, right? They can say, okay, it's just a bad prediction, but it doesn't hurt me. And I think predictive analytics in that sense it's fine, right? I think we can say ethically it's all good. And so we see that type of what I might call consumer-facing predictive analytics rolling out more and more within HR. I guess the side where, it's on the other side, right? I think the predictive cases are more like I've mentioned, where you're not exactly predicting something. I mean, if you study like a data set and you try to come up with your ideal candidate profile, right? You are basically predicting, in the sense that you're predicting that this type of person is a good candidate. And then you apply that to a person when you interview them. But I think it's still important. I think most people would still recognize it's important that when you are in the interview process, you understand that these predictions about what a perfect candidate might look like, right? That there's always space for judgment, right? And there's always space for someone to say, yeah, okay, that's maybe perfect, or that's what has worked in the past, but we always have to kind of maintain the idea that, it's only a prediction, right?
Yeah.
And there's still a place for judgment. And I think that's particularly important when the consequences are negative for the person.
Yeah, no, definitely. So